Hey folks, this is day 2 in Bolivia. I'm driving out to the border now, and I'm just leaving the town of Oruro, which is, it's a pretty good sized town. I'd say probably 100,000 people, just guessing. They built everything out of this red brick that you see here, and they don't seem to paint a whole lot, so everything looks kind of the same. So it's pretty dusty and dry here. We're over 12,000 feet. Oh, big bump. Guy just went by on a Harley. That's the first one of those I've seen. I'm here to report on the migration issue, and there are supposedly lots of Venezuelans, Cubans, and Haitians that are coming through Bolivia on their way somewhere else. However, so far I've only seen Venezuelans. I haven't seen any Haitians, and I wonder if it's because right now with Joe Biden
in 200 meters, turn right,
making it so easy to get into the United States, that all the Haitians are going for the U.S. The Venezuelans that I talked to, they all plan to go back to Venezuela at some point. And so to them, going to the United States seems like more of a
turn right,
like a permanent thing. And I'm really surprised at Venezuelans at how incredibly patriotic they are, even though they're walking away from their country. I don't know that I've ever met a Venezuelan that said, I never want to go back to Venezuela. They all want to go back. They just want Maduro gone. And they just want the situation to get better. So they're very patriotic people. You don't hear that from Haitians. Haitians, it seems like, once they leave, the word for, I think somebody told me the word for travel is the word for like leaving forever. Is it, like leaving forever and traveling is the same word in Haiti. And so that's just interesting. But I have not seen any Haitians in Chile, or I know there are some, because I've seen reports of Haitians down there. But I think the Haitians get a lot more racism down there than they would in the United States. That's just a guess, but I know there's been some real problems with xenophobia from the Chileans. That's one of the reasons I'm here, to do some reporting on this. And so far, I've only been here 24 hours, and I haven't really got to the place where the migrants are. I just happened to run into some in the marketplace a little while ago when I was looking for some memory cards for my camera. There's that guy on the Harley. Like I say, that's a rare sight down here. You see plenty of motorcycles, but you don't see many Harleys, especially one as big as that one. That's interesting too. Being over 12,000, this is the first time I think I've ever been this high for more than just an hour or two. Over 12,000 feet of elevation.
In 400 meters, at the roundabout, take the third exit.
Over 12,000 feet of elevation. I wondered how it would affect me. And just kind of, of course, I went without sleep for more than 24 hours before getting to Bolivia, so that didn't help. You can tell from my voice, I'm a little dry. It's pretty dry here. And so I had kind of a headache. Plus, they don't really have coffee. They don't do coffee so much here as we do in the States, so it's a little harder to find. And that might have contributed to the headache a little bit. So lack of sleep, elevation, and lack of coffee all kind of played a part, I think. But I had a real good...
Exit the roundabout.
Had a real good steak dinner last night. That helped me feel a lot better. And I did manage to find some coffee this morning. And I also, here, when you have altitude problems, headache and stuff, insomnia, they give you a tea made from the coca leaf. Now, of course, it's highly diluted. It's not cocaine, but it's the same product. It's the same base product, and that actually helps quite a bit. So I had some of that mate de coca, they call it, and that helped. So last night I made a kind of a concentrate. Instead of 1 tea bag, I used like 8 or 10 tea bags, and in a liter of water, along with some other herbs that I found on the street that when I was walking around, I talked to some kids that were selling these. It smelled like mint, kind of like mint and lavender put together. And I think they call it like moly or something like that. But it smelled wonderful, smelled amazing. So I bought some and I brought it back, and I thought, I wonder how that'd go in the tea. So I threw some in there too. And it actually gave it a real sweet flavor. I was surprised. I'm not using sugar. So I just put like 10 bags of Coca Tea and some of that mole or whatever it was in there. And it was fantastic. It was really, really good. So I got a whole bottle of it here that I'm going to drink this is my concentrate. I'm going to drink on my drive today to try to keep me awake. I also happened to find an actual good, honest to goodness coffee shop. So I bought a large Americano. The coffee here is not great, but it'll do in a pinch. It's about as good as gas station coffee in the States, and I drink that all the time when I'm there. So I'm not picky when it comes to caffeine transfer mediums. Driving, I think I drove about 6 hours yesterday. It ended up taking quite a bit longer than the map said. The map said it was 6.5 hours all the way to the border. I made it to Oruro last night. I could hardly keep my eyes open any longer. So I just said bag it, and plus that's probably the last place that you'll find a hotel between here and the border. So there's that. And so I got a hotel last night. The hotel was quite a bit more expensive than I thought it would be in a little tiny town in the middle of nowhere in Bolivia. Usually I end up finding it's like $9 a night or something, maybe as much as $30 a night. My hotel last night was about $90, but it was fine. Nice room, hard bed, which I didn't like very much, but you take what you can get. And halfway decent breakfast this morning. Although one thing I've noticed about the altitude is that I'm just not as hungry as I normally am. I don't know, maybe that's from the Coca Tea or something. I don't know. But so anyway, I'm leaving Oruro now. It's about noon, and I'm heading out to the border in Pisiga. I really have a feeling I may end up camping out there tonight. There's I don't know if there's much in the way of anywhere to stay out there. We'll find out. But I don't plan on coming back to Oruro tonight because I want to be on the border when, at night, because that's when the migrants cross typically. There's a little lake right here with about 1 million flamingos in it, so I'm going to stop and take some photos of these flamingos. So I'll be back. Okay, I just found a quarantine camp outside of town, outside of Oruro. It's coming up here on my left. And, it's interesting. It seems like the countries, the more socialist or communist a country is, the more likely they are to go full retard on COVID measures. But this is it. There's a quarantine camp over here. I'm going to take a picture of the sign. Well, I made a little pit stop in a little pueblo called Huachacaya. And you see here, I'm getting gas. There's no gas stations, so you just have to stop at one of these places beside the road And the lady here is gonna get me some fuel. Déjame hacerlo. This is how you buy gas out here.
Huh?
Déjame meterlo. I got fuel from this nice lady and paid her 120 bolivianos. 120, ¿no? Sí. ¿Ese es para cuántos litros?
20 litros.
20 litros. Okay, so for 20 liters of fuel, I paid 120. Okay, these guys are transporters. You wouldn't call them smugglers, but that's what they are, I guess.
Bueno, si tú lo traduces, aquí tengo Huachacalla, vino aquí un amigo que dice que es americano, se compró gasolina, cargó el tanque y dice que va rumbo a Iquique, Chile. Yo soy...
¿Cuánto tiempo para llegar a Iquique?
A Iquique de acá, a Iquique son 45 minutos. No, a la frontera.
Okay, well, I got some gas. That's good because I was getting a little worried. It goes a long way out here without any towns or anything, but I found that lady selling gas by the side of the road, so I fueled up, and now I'm making the last hour or so out to the Chilean border. There is a whole lot of nothing out here. Look at this. I knew I must be getting close to the border when I came upon a line of semi-trucks several miles long that are waiting for COVID tests to get across the border. When I talked to some of those guys, they told me that they had been waiting 4 or 5 days to get across. Okay, this is Pisiga. I'm having llama soup for supper. Never had llama before. This ought to be interesting. Yeah. That's Simon Bolivar behind me. This is the main square in the little tiny pueblo of Pisiga, right on the Bolivian border with Chile. And there's tons of people coming through. It's a real transient area because this is one of the points where migrants are coming across illegally. So I'm just kind of walking around the town to see what kind of services are available for them. Stay tuned for the next episode here on the Chilean border. I'm Chuck Holton. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe and like this podcast to keep it coming.